Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference 2025 is officially locked for June 9th. And that means one thing: new software across the board. iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and of course watchOS 12. And even though Apple's staying quiet, we've got some early signals. No official unveil yet, but the pieces are starting to line up. And if you're into Apple Watches the way we are, this year could be an interesting one. Before we dive into what might be coming, let's look back at what Apple gave us last year. So last year, watchOS 11 brought in a few helpful features. We got on-wrist translation, Apple's check-in tool for safety, global tide tracking, and finally the option to pause and adjust fitness rings. That last one may sound small, but it was something people had wanted for years. But not everything landed well. The Vitals app, for example, felt too clinical. It stacked health data in one place, but didn't guide us much on what to actually do with that data. That's been Apple's issue for a while. You get heart rate, sleep hours, and resting rate, but no clear advice. Other brands like Garmin and Google are better here. They give you recovery tips, energy scores, and stress insights. Not just raw data, they give you something that helps. Now, let's look ahead to watchOS 12, what may come, and what we can expect. Starting with health features. One of the big things we might get is blood pressure monitoring, and maybe even a warning system for possible hypertension. That means the watch could flag numbers that seem off. But there's a catch. This probably needs new hardware. So even if the feature shows up in watchOS 12, older watches might not support it. Apple has a pattern here. Sometimes they add features quietly to older models when the hardware allows, so there's still a chance. You could also see an upgrade to the Vitals app. It might finally move past being just a list of numbers and start giving real suggestions. And that brings us to a spot where Apple really needs to improve: recovery tracking. If you work out often, you probably noticed this already. Even after training load came in last year, we still don't get energy scores or daily recovery tips. Nothing that says, take a rest, or you're ready to push. Samsung, Google, Garmin, they all do this. Apple gives you heart rate and sleep hours, but doesn't connect the dots. And the sleep tracking? Still basic. It shows hours and stages, but not much else. No insight, no daily suggestions. You have to figure it out on your own. So with watchOS 12, we need something simple and helpful at a glance. If the watch could connect your sleep, stress, and heart rate into one energy number, that would be a big step. Since we're talking workouts, there's another part that we are expecting an upgrade: the step tracking and activity stats. Right now, you can't see step count per workout. You only get total steps for the day. So if you go on a walk or run, you don't know how many steps you took just during that session. To get that, you have to use a third-party app like Steps app. And using that along with Apple's workout app doesn't feel smooth. But Apple is already tracking the steps, just not showing it per activity. That's something they could fix easily, and it would make tracking workouts way better. Let's shift gears now and talk about something Apple is investing in: AI. Apple is building out its AI system called Apple Intelligence. On the iPhone, that means things like message summaries and smarter suggestions. On the watch, we haven't seen much yet. watchOS 12 could start to change that. Even small AI tools could make a difference, like better notifications, improved Siri, or smarter reminders. But again, some of this may need newer chips. So the full experience might only land on the latest models, like the Ultra 3 or Series 11. Still, if Siri actually gets smarter, that's a good thing. Right now, it works, but not always well. If Siri becomes more useful, the watch would feel more like a companion than a remote. And that leads into something else we've been waiting on: a new look. So the watchOS 12 might bring a fresh design. There's talk that Apple could take ideas from Vision OS. That means maybe floating layers, larger types, and cleaner layouts. The watch interface hasn't changed much in years. It still looks fine, but it could use a refresh. Something that makes info easier to read and apps quicker to open. This might also depend on which models get the update. From what we can tell, watchOS 12 will likely work on Series 7 and newer. That includes both Ultra versions and the 2nd Gen SE. So if you're still using a Series 6 or older, it might be time to upgrade. Not because your watch breaks, but because you'll miss out on new stuff. Now, let's talk about what we hope Apple adds to this new OS. Here's the wish list. First, an actual energy score. We need more than just heart rate and sleep charts. We need a simple number that tells us how we're doing. Second, better ways to move between workout screens. If you're on a hike and need both maps and your heart rate, it's a pain to switch. Apple could add split view or smarter toggles. Third, a clearer activity app. Right now, it takes too many taps to find trends or history. It should show more insights with less effort. Also, battery life. If watchOS 12 adds more features, it needs better power tools too. Apple's gotten better with this, but there's still work to do. And finally, more features that work quietly in the background, like fall detection or the check-in tool. These don't make headlines, but they help. So that's the picture for watchOS 12. Some of it sounds likely, some of it we're just hoping for. But there's a lot of potential. This could be the year Apple takes a step from just tracking things to actually helping you act on them. WWDC is almost here. We'll see a developer beta first. Then, a public beta will probably be in July. Final version in September. That's usually how it goes. Until then, it's a good time to think about what you want your watch to do. Because Apple is likely asking that same question. And maybe this year, the watch does more than just collect data. Maybe it becomes more of a guide. That's what we'd like to see. Let's wait and watch. Till then, let us know your expectations in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe for more news and reviews.